Vegas Golden Knights coach Bruce Cassidy called the Golden Knights power play casual, and the Flyers ended the Golden Knights 7-game winning streak by ending a 6-game losing streak of their own. REX up next on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Chris Gawlik, and welcome to Locked On Golden Knights, the only daily Golden Knights podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 podcast network. That's Tony Dasco on assignment, a longtime sportscaster and host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. I'm Chris Gawlik, Day 1 VGK and HSK season ticket member, hockey coach, hockey player, and hockey sports card breaker. Coming up on today's show, we'll get to know more about Rasmus Andersson, the player, general manager Kelly McCrimmon's thoughts on the trade, and how the Golden Knights lost to the lowly Philadelphia Flyers on Monday night. Don't forget to watch us every day on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Tune in at 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. SSSCN is the place to be on YouTube TV and Cox Cable Channel 77. So, Tony, we're switching roles today.
Yeah, this is kind of
you're on assignment. You're on assignment.
I am on assignment.
Things started well for the Golden Knights, at least for the first few minutes of the game. They controlled the pace, had plenty of offensive zone time. Did it feel like just after watching the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, we'd be talking about a VGK loss?
You know, it's crazy. So last night I watched the Philadelphia feed. So the real feed that actually tells you who turns the puck over, even if it's their own players. I can't get over that sometimes. Like, can they just say who turned the puck over? Like, even the media folks, everyone that covers this team, media folks, AKA the VGK employees, no one tells you who turns the puck over. So Tomas Hertl, all right, on the first turnover that led to the first Travis Konechny goal. And then the shorthanded goal, Jack Eichel gets fancy. We haven't used that term in a minute. Eichel getting very fancy there, tries to throw that backhanded pass, blind pass, picked off by Konechny. And then for some reason, can you tell me why Adin Hill just sort of stands there and says, okay, I'm going to concede the goal? I don't even think he didn't dive one way or the other. Even on that first Konechny breakaway goal, he just stood there like a cigar store Indian. I'm baffled at, again, like, okay, he's got some rust, but you need to move, bro. And I would have said the goalie's being casual too, because that he should be casual. He should be in that list of casuals as well.
What is your faith level in watching a visiting player or an opposing player, probably better terminology to use, break in from the Golden Knights red line unevaded? I mean, are you just conceding the goal at that point as someone watching the game?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were doing. Now, again, granted, this could be a very tired team because the games are piling up. You have a different level. You're trying to ride this win streak, which was at 7. You're thinking, okay, here's a Flyers team that not only lost 6 in a row, their first win in 7 games, but Chris, they went 5 consecutive games where they lost games by 3 goals or more. So you're thinking, we just show up at the arena, we pack our bags, we're getting ready to go on the road, and we get the dub. And that wasn't the case at all. And I think they might have just phoned this one in, for lack of a better term.
Golden Knights had 18 high danger chances, doubling up the Philadelphia Flyers 9. 25 shots on goal for the Vegas Golden Knights, 17 shots on goal for the Philadelphia Flyers. Do you feel that the process of the game wasn't bad? I mean, I watched the game pretty closely last night, and I didn't feel like it didn't feel like the Golden Knights #1 had double the high danger chances. Andersson had a great game for the Flyers, full credit for
Amazing.
out-goalieing Adin Hill. But when you just look at this game from its just if you don't look at the results, if you don't look at the final score, you see 25-17 shots favoring the Golden Knights. You see a double up 18-9 in high danger chances. Process before results. Process was good, results bad, or was this game worse than what the stats indicate?
A lot of block shots too. Credit the Flyers. They just kept getting in and clogging up the passing lanes and then going 1 for 7 on the power play. And you could tell the frustration it was showing on the face and in the words of Bruce Cassidy last night after the game. 1 for 7 on the power play, which has been so dominant, but they weren't moving around. They weren't moving the puck. They couldn't find those alleys. Again, you have to credit at some point the Philadelphia Flyers. That team came in reeking of desperation, and I'm just surprised they were able to close this game out, even with that late penalty that they had. Owen Tippett puts the puck over the glass, like what, with about less than 2 minutes to go. I'm like, oh, they're going to tie it up now. But again, credit Philadelphia. They did a good job in clearing the zone. They did a great job, an exceptional job on the power play. And so maybe you have to give them some credit. And Sam Ersson, man, he did a heck of a job, stood on his head. Brendan Bowman twice, right, was on the doorstep. If you think about it, he stonewalled Tomas Hertl in the crease in that game. They played like they were in here to earn a victory in that game last night. But, you know, it's uncharacteristic for your superstars just to give the puck away. They just gave it away, and it was just, again, being too casual and out of sync on the power play last night.
I mentioned on yesterday's show, before the emergency show, I guess, about the Andersson trade.
Is it time for another emergency show now that they lost?
It could be. The Golden Knights are probably going to get Panarin sometime this morning. We'll see how that shakes out. But I did mention that this is a spot where you don't want to give a losing team, a struggling team, any level of hope. And Coach Cassidy did touch on that throughout the game today. The game's tied going to the third. We got a chance to get out of this, and mentioned that the Golden Knights were in a very similar spot no less than a couple weeks ago. So it feels like the Golden Knights should have been ready and prepared for this moment. Do you feel that the Golden Knights lost it? Did the Flyers earn this victory, or did the Golden Knights just hand it to them on a golden platter?
No, I think it's a combination of both. Again, all those blocks too in the game, you have to credit Philadelphia, but VGK didn't have the jump after they gave up that first goal. And then that shorthanded goal was a killer because they were tied at 1 apiece. It's almost as though the next goal wins in that situation, perhaps. But the Flyers, you could tell that they're not accustomed to winning because they kept putting the Golden Knights on the man advantage throughout the course of the night. I thought it was interesting. Why would they bring up Jacob Megna last night? That was a pretty interesting move. So you had Huddy, is that his nickname? You had Hutton and you had Megna there, the combination defensively. But why are they so high on Jacob Megna? I don't get it. I don't at all.
Time of service, I don't know. I mean, Dylan Coghlan.
Well, he's a captain. He's a captain.
There you go. Coghlan, when he replaced Megna in the lineup a week and a half, whatever it was, seemed to just have a much more positive impact on the game. So, to be fair, though, this game isn't on Megna by any means. You got a pair of leaders out there making a couple of rough turnovers, unfortunately. Unnamed leaders, Tony. There you go. I'll take a little bit of your Kool-Aid here. I guess in closing about the game, I would have told you that the Golden Knights were going to have 7 power plays. What would you have predicted the score to be?
At least 4 or 5. I thought there'd be like another avalanche. I thought they'd run away with this game. And again, you could tell how, I guess, upset, how maybe mad might be a better term, after that Ranger game where Sean Couturier was asked, what did you think of the game tonight? Stupid question. I think one of their Flyer employees asked that, and he said, we sucked. And he was just really mad and bitter. And so they come out and they go on the road, and maybe it was time to get away from home, and they come up with the big win.
At least he had one good question in there, Tony. There you go. We'll touch on that a little bit later. All right, coming up next, we're going to dive into some edge stats about Rasmus Andersson. You like that? Do not go away. There's nothing like being near the ice during hockey season. The speed that hits the atmosphere, it's unmatched. Watching at home is great, but being in the building is a completely different experience. The only thing that used to get in the way was actually getting tickets. Long queues, endless screens, and prices changing at checkout. That's why the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing NHL tickets and experiences in just a few taps. I pulled up the Game Time app to check out upcoming NHL games, upcoming Golden Knight games, and was surprised at how fast it was and how easy it was to find great seats. One of my favorite features is seeing the view from my seat before buying, so I know exactly what I'm getting. The zone deals are clutch. You choose the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save even more. I really like that fees are included up front, so the price you see is the price you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Lost our graphic. Where'd it go? Come on, intern. There we go. Okay, we're awake. Here we go. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tuesday's losing edition. First time we've said that in a couple of weeks.
Casual edition. Casual.
It's a casual edition. This is a casual edition. I like that better. All right. Big trade goes down. Kelly McCrimmon addresses the media. We get to know a little bit more about Rasmus Andersson, the NHL. I didn't get the writer's name. Tony, maybe you got it on your side there. But we had some great edge stats that were released about Rasmus Andersson. So let's get to know a little bit more about Andersson from a statistical perspective, and we'll take even a little bit of a deeper dive into some of his stats. So here we go. 10th in goals, tied for 8th among defensemen. For defensemen, not overall. 112 shots on goal. I like this guy already. Tied for 20th. 4 power play goals, which is tied for 5th among blue liners. Will Andersson bring an offensive punch to this VGK lineup?
Absolutely. And I'm looking at all of these. So remember, we were talking about all the metrics pointing positively for VGK, but yet, and you pointed this out, Chris, the eye test was just not coinciding. It was not level what they were saying all these metrics were. And so when you look at this team here overall, we felt that the metrics were overblown. And this is a team that, it looks great on paper, analytic wise, but we're not seeing the same results. And here you have Rasmus Andersson, who will give you results offensively. I mean, this is night and day. I know there's a lot of Cloudy fans out there. Cloudy, they never use that nickname here for White Cloud. A lot of Cloudy fans, but this is the right deal. This is the right trade. This is the player they needed. This is the one that we've been begging for. He's got the 8th and the hardest shot, 100.26 miles per hour, 4 shots this season of at least 95. He's going to find the net. That will cut through a lot of defenders. They could have used him last night maybe to break some kneecaps of the Flyers with those clappers, if you will. He might have had some taters too. And then here's an interesting stat that I really liked. 12 high danger shots on goal, just second to Jacob Chikrin. So here's a guy that finds his way around the net, and there's no comparables on this very casual Golden Knights defense. There aren't. There's none.
Location matters, and you touched on the high danger shots. 12 high danger shots, tied for second among D. You said Jacob Chikrin leads that category.
Jacob Chikrin?
He has 3 high danger goals, which those are going to be goals generally from closer around the net. So you're not always going to see him blasting off from the point. He's going to get in near the slot and create some chaos, like kind of like what Zach Whitecloud was trying to do. Just that part of Whitecloud's game hasn't evolved and likely won't. And then 4 long range goals, which are going to be goals basically from inside the blue line. Your one timer clappers, Tony, as you said right there, which is tied for 4th among defensemen. So is it safe to say we're going to see maybe more creative scoring from the blue line as a result of Andersson becoming a Vegas Golden Knight?
Yeah, and as we've mentioned previously, this really helps out Noah Hanifin's game immensely. And let's say you have Rasmus.
Shea Theodore too. I think Shea Theodore too is going to benefit.
Okay. Let's say you have Rasmussen pinching because he's going to get to the crease. Then you'll have Hanifin staying back defensively. I had a question. Is this going to be a player? I like the player. I'm sorry. That's what McCrimmon kept saying, as if he doesn't know his name. The guy, the player. I like the player. I like this player. Is this player going to be on the penalty kill? Because it really would make a lot of sense if he is.
I think so. I definitely, in watching what he does out there, he's got that grinder mentality. I think Chandler Stevenson quote, I think he has no problem grabbing his nuts and going to work and getting a little dirty out there. And I think he's going to do whatever it takes. He's been, I won't say stuck in Calgary, and credit to the Flames fans for checking this out. I know you guys hate it when we say Calgary. It's just kind of a fun thing. We're getting a little roasted on YouTube for that, but we appreciate all the Flames fans coming and checking out our perspective on Rasmus Andersson.
Why? Because we're absolutely fair. We're fair.
No, they don't like Cal. Pause Gary. They don't like.
But we're giving you.
Besides that, we're fair
coverage. Yeah, we're fair for the most part.
Yeah, but no, a lot of Flames fans are rooting for the Golden Knights now. We saw a lot of positive comments on our YouTube, so feel free to check in with us anytime and give us some more perspectives about Rasmus Andersson, stuff that stats aren't really going to tell us about. Tell us about the player. Tell us about those stare downs. Some additional stats here. We'll see if Andersson can help. BGK penalty kill, as you said, Tony, tied for 10th. Golden Knights 5v5 shot attempts, tied for 11th overall. However, the Golden Knights save percentage for the goaltenders in 5v5 circumstances is the 3rd worst overall in the NHL at .891. Is Andersson going to help any of those categories or all of those categories?
Well, he's going to be the 4th goalie, Chris. Come on. Is that what you're asking?
The way things are going, who knows? I mean, they might need to help
in every cat. Watch the way this defense tightens up now. Like, that's the biggest, I think, that's the biggest thing I want to see right now is how the defense will tighten up when they have him in the lineup. I think it's going to be a lot more cohesive, tighter. McCrimmon said he kind of stopped short, but this is another version of Alex Pietrangelo. It really is when you think about it, because the offensive creativity and a guy that can block shots. He's got 90 block shots on the season, so he's not scared. Remember, there was a time, so Cassidy tells his players he wants them to all block shots. They have been, I don't feel like they're selling themselves out here to block as many shots as they have in the past. Maybe that's another show during the Olympic break. But here's a guy that blocks shots. He can shoot. He can score. I know fans go shoot, shoot, shoot. And then the edge stats show as well how far a player has skated. And so far, 165.27 miles he's skated. And that is in the top 95 percentile in the NHL. So that shows to me he's on the ice for a long time and he's skating all over the place. And he's not going to be casual about it at all. I think that they found the right player. You know, I've been high on him from the get-go, and I think he's going to help offensively and defensively.
I can tell you a former goaltender absolutely hates the amount of shots that the Golden Knights attempt to block, because it does cause some chaos when it happens in tighter around the crease. Really quickly, is this Vegas Golden Knights decor, does it have the potential to be better than the Stanley Cup winning decor?
Potentially. I just think there still could be a weak spot, and I don't know what happens on the back end. I'm not really sold yet on the back end of this, even though we're definitely Huddy fans. Korczak, I don't know if that's going to make them really that solid with the third combo.
For sure. I definitely, there's some questions, some concerns, but definitely a large improvement to the VGK defensive decor. Coming up next, we will get General Manager Kelly McCrimmon's thoughts on the Andersson trade. Keep it right here. Our side keeps going away every time I put our advertising. Oh, weird. Anyway, we'll leave it like this, and that's fine. All right. Thank you for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out the new Everydayer Club. You get access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Golden Knights compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. An invite to members-only Locked On Everydayer Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony can give you some fun perspectives in there, I'm sure. Please make sure to go to lockedongoldenKnights.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, Tony. This is Kelly McCrimmon making an unscheduled or scheduled press conference to discuss his thoughts on Rasmus Andersson. As always, McCrimmon is full of some one-liners. He has a little bit of fun in there. I'm not sure Steve Karp is appreciative of Kelly McCrimmon on this Tuesday morning, but that's okay. I want to start with Kelly McCrimmon stated to win, you need playmakers on the team. On a team loaded with playmakers like Eichel, Stone, Marner, Hertl, and Shea Theodore, what can Andersson do to stand out as a playmaker?
Well, I definitely had to tune in to the State of the Made Men address. I had to check that out. And one thing that stands out before I get into Rasmussen, the player is what they kept, looking to retain the player. This player brings playmaking ability. The fact that there's no follow-up question to, McCrimmon's talking about Bill Foley's never said no. Well, obviously, look at some of the characters that they have signed here lately. He's never said no, but no one asked the question, is Foley more involved day to day like he said he would be? So that's the question.
That was like season 3, I think, or was that season 5 when they missed the playoffs?
No, it's like a couple of years ago. He said he was going to get more involved in the decision-making process because he was mad after they didn't make the playoffs that season, whatever number that was. Okay, so what Rasmus Andersson will add to the hockey club, he helps out the team speed, and we just talked about that with some of the edge stats. He can carry the puck or he can pass it, and he makes plays. He's a playmaker. And I think that that's going to help this team with the offensive punch. Let's do a hard stop right now statistically, and then let's see post Andersson how many more goals this team can score, how they break out, in the neutral zone, which they've had difficulties. Here's a guy again that could bring the puck down the ice, get through the neutral zone, and get it in the hands of Eichel, Marner, et cetera. So I think he adds a complete game, truly. And I think he is a playmaker, and he has that hard shot. And the thing that stood out, and you sort of alluded to it earlier, completing plays in the slot. I think that's
on my notes too. Yep.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think no different than the way I coach my couple of hockey teams. You get pucks to what I call the money zone, the area right in front of the net, or the house. We use the house as a term for protect the house on defense.
I call it crib. The crib.
The crib. There you go. You get pucks into those high danger areas, and good things happen. Coach Cassidy, you shoot for sticks, you shoot for shin pads, you shoot for skates, you get those deflections and things like that. Andersson has an uncanny ability to complete passes. We're not talking just dump and chase or put the puck into the net into the slot from the blue line and pray for rain. Completing passes. So he's finding players in those bumper positions. He's finding players on the back door. You might see a player like Dorofeev benefit more in a 5-on-5 role. You might see Hertl and Stone get more goals from inside. You might even find a way for Jack Eichel to have more time and space to operate. And I win all those players. I'm mentioning Mitch Marner's ability. So this is going to create some more matchup nightmares or mismatches for opposing teams, as now they have one more cog in this lineup that they have to worry about. And, God forbid any of their players or fans get caught in a Rasmus Andersson stare down. Oh, that video is so good. He's going to fit in so well here in Vegas with all of that.
He's a character. Yeah, he's fun.
In closing, Kelly McCrimmon states there's no gaping holes or weaknesses on this VGK roster. Fair or false?
False, absolutely false. They need another scorer. They need wingmen. They might need another center. They're not complete, and he'll make another deal. I had over 1 and a hook there. And then the other thing too, quick update: McNabb, Sissons, Sad, of course, as Cassidy calls them, Carlson and Howden and Hart. None of those players are likely to come back before the break. And then they wonder why they're not winning, a game like last night against Philly. I mean, give the guys a break there. Look at that. I mean, they're missing a lot of the core of this team, not the core, sorry, other than McNabb, pretty much the complementary players. And I'm going to be interested at post trade deadline, what they're going to do with Hart. That's going to be interesting. And then the last point too, sorry, Stevie Carp, man, but McCrimmon blew you up yesterday. He asked 2 questions, and then McCrimmon says, well, at least one of your questions was good, Steve. Come on, man. Give the guy a break.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
your back, Carpy. I got his back.
No, we love Carp. Carp, friend of the program and very good friend to me in the press box when I was doing my thing. Definitely a good mentor.
Quickly, how big is my head? I blocked this entire light behind me, the whole show.
That's standard, and you didn't have to that's natural. There's no filters in there. All right. Thank you for tuning in to today's Locked On Golden Knights podcast. Make sure to subscribe and follow so you get all the latest episodes on YouTube and audio. Never miss an episode with the Everydayer Club. Get Locked On Golden Knights, members only Discord access, and more. Head to LockedOnGoldenKnights.supercast.com. For myself, for Tony Dasco, thank you for tuning in today's edition of Locked On Golden Knights.